I can tell you that I am disappointed. All right, treasurer?
I'd like to nominate Barbara Tokay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Vasile Cotescu.
Okay, anybody else?
Bob Meta.
Okay. All right. Let's, anybody else besides that? By the way, Mr. Mack had asked me to, not to, he would be withdrawing his nomination. He will help us in other areas as he can. Okay. So we have Barbara Tokay, Vasily Cotescu,
Vasile Cotescu.
Cotescu, and Bob Meta. I'd like to open it up for discussion. The first one about Barbara.
Yes.
You may nominate her.
I think it's very important that we have a board member as treasurer. Barbara is very used to looking at all the numbers. She can look at it from an owner's perspective. And this is a position that we've had unfilled for quite a while. And I feel it's very important. And I feel she would be the perfect candidate because she's always doing research into the numbers. She knows our systems very well. She's very familiar with the budget, and she has an extensive knowledge of the bylaws, master deed, so she can put everything together.
Okay, very good. Anybody else, please? Vasily, who nominated Vasily, and I can speak for him.
Vasile also has experience. He was in the financial committee, and I saw last night his presentation, and I like what I heard, and I think so that he's very qualified. He has an accounting degree or some kind of accounting basis that he worked for many years as a treasurer, and I would feel very comfortable having him as our to represent us and to help us and hold our hands and go forward.
Anybody else about Vasily?
Is it proper for me to speak?
Yes.
I've worked with Vasile on the finance committee, and I know he's committed to reducing expenses at the Galaxy. I know he spent a lot of time on this work. However, in the interview that we conducted on the board, I noted that he was not all that familiar with the bylaws or the master deed, and I think that the recommendations would therefore be somewhat lacking. I am concerned, that is why I asked my name to be put in nomination, at this time when we have severe financial difficulties, of having a treasurer who does not have a vote and cannot support the vote. And so that is why I put myself forward. I believe that there are 5 people on this board who could serve as treasurer. And so I do not consider myself necessarily to have unique qualifications, but I think there should be a board director. And I feel that there are many other people in the Galaxy who can help. And Vasile, for example, is serving on the Financial Advisory Committee, and I would expect that if he were not elected, he would continue in that capacity. I do think it's important to also be able to present some of our financial alternatives to homeowners in ways that people can understand. And my day job is explaining numbers to people who don't know anything about them. So that is the reason that I asked that my name be placed in nomination, and it's also some of the reasons that I believe that we should elect a treasurer at some point. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Anybody else? You nominated
Bob Meta.
Yes.
Of course, finances is not my forte, as we all know. However, when we interviewed Bob Mehta, I was very impressed with him. I thought he had a good background and he seemed like a nice and a very honest person. I would like to say something else though. We did actually interview Mac, and we did actually interview the CLA, and we did actually interview Bob Mehta, but we did not actually interview Barbara, and I don't think that's very fair. I mean, if we're going to take the vote, I mean, shouldn't she have sit down and show us the resume and talk to us, and we could question her like we did to the other people?
Yes, actually, I had no idea that Barbara was interested in the position until today. When you sent out your email that let us know that you were interested.
I think that's exactly true, but I'll let it go.
Well, I mean, you didn't make it publicly known. So,
So I don't know where to go.
I think that having read her qualifications and
Yes,
having
which I
known
did.
Barbara for a couple of years, I personally do not need her to tell me about her education. Today she basically laid it out for us in several lines. So that's a valid suggestion, but my feelings are that it's not needed. But Franco, you have anything to say?
I think we have all three candidates are, I think, very well qualified, and I think some of us have our preference, but I just leave it up to a vote, and again, I don't think we can go wrong with any one of them.
Okay, Thomas?
The three candidates are definitely qualified. And I understand what Barbara said about picking someone that's on the board. I have no problems with all three candidates. The one thing that I know that the two of the candidates that we interviewed, I think they will keep it up at the summary level, at the treasurer, what I think the treasurer should do, and I think Barbara can do that too, just not to get lost down at the lower level, because she does know where all of the details and all the problems are. So I'm thinking about the analysis, and I will decide when the vote comes.
Apparently, I believe that it's insignificant. Treasurer director, treasurer outsider. According to Barbara Toki's email today, she's seriously criticizing previous treasurer who was a director, and I truly here believes that the previous treasurer actually led us into the mess we have now. So the point I'm making,
Okay.
the point I'm making
Hold
is
on.
completely.
Hold on, please. Let's change the tape.
They,
Please don't. Private email or contact.
I'll handle it. Yes.
The point I'm making that if Barbara, that the previous history tells us that it doesn't really matter, so it's not a significant factor. So we have to find the most qualified person, and what will determine the opinion of the director.
Thank you. Okay, we're back to Richard. It's your point again. If you want to end up discussion at that point, then we'll take a vote.
I just want to emphasize again that I think it's important that we do have a board member who can have a vote, and especially Barbara, she has intimate knowledge of the budget and the accounting.
Okay, good. That is, if there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote then.
Explain the procedure.
Yep.
I'd like to explain the procedure. Each of the three candidates will be voted for. If one of them receives an absolute majority, that person is then elected and we don't go any further. If at the end of votes for the three candidates, no one has an absolute majority, we eliminate the person who has the fewest number of votes and then vote for the remaining two. And we continue the process until either one person receives an absolute majority or we're down to one. And at that point, if there are abstentions, it's just if that person got enough votes, they're in. I'm sorry, they would have to be in because there's nobody else.
Point of information, absolute majority.